Hello everybody, welcome to Now You Know.
I'm Zach, this is Jesse.
Welcome.
We've been back for a few days now.
Yep, and so I got in my car the other day. I had to run a couple errands. And
how'd that feel?
Very different. It feels very different. The first thing I noticed when I got in my car was that it felt broken. Every single thing about it seemed wrong.
Didn't I see you jump out of your car at one point, like when you're in the driveway?
Oh yeah, so I thought for sure that I had a flat tire. You know, I reversed a little bit, I backed up a little bit, and I thought, I think I have a flat tire. Like it just felt too bouncy or something like that. So I went out and all my tires were fine. I think what it was is the Tesla has a completely different ride than my Subaru Forester.
So what do you mean, like what was so different that you thought it was broken?
It just seemed bouncy. I mean, I went over a couple rocks or something in the driveway and I could feel them. So then the next thing I noticed was sort of the gas. So when I press the gas pedal, you don't get the sort of smooth acceleration at low speeds that you get with the Tesla. In the Tesla, you can accelerate at any speed, so you can accelerate very, 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 very slowly.
Great for car washes.
Right, great for car washes, great for anything else. But when you're in an ICE car, as soon as you give it a little gas, as soon as it gets past, whatever is holding it back, it'll lurch forward, it'll go, because it's pumping gas into the engine. It's not telling the engine to move forward. Also, it's an automatic, so it shifts gears. So you have to think about what gear you're in.
Oh yeah, I want to talk about that for a second. So the Tesla, it's not changing gears. It has one gear.
Right.
And for a lot of people have asked me about that. Well, how can you have a car with one gear? Isn't that like driving in first?
Right. It kind of is like driving in first. You have power at the second you want it. It's there.
But doesn't that mean that it's whining when you get to higher speeds?
No, I mean, the amazing thing with the electrical engine is that the electric motor is that it can handle those higher RPMs, and it just takes it.
Yeah, there's no transmission.
Right.
All the power is going directly from the battery to the motor.
Right. Another thing that I noticed in my car was that I couldn't think because it was so loud. You have the engine noise, you have the vibrations of the engine. So I mean, it's not just the of the engine, it's also the entire car. And
but what do you mean? Like, your car isn't that old or bad.
It's not old or bad, it's running fine.
But you just notice it because we've been in this car for so long.
True, and I think it isn't built as well. I think there are definitely, and it's a lot older, I'll give it that, but there are just parts of it that'll rattle. Also, the windows in my car are terrible, so as soon as you get above like 50 miles an hour, the wind noise is just overwhelming. And I think that might have to do with it just not being aerodynamic.
I mean, this car is the second most aerodynamic car on the road after the S.
And it's an SUV.
Right. I mean, that's amazing. When we got up to speeds of 80, 85 miles an hour, which are speeds you're not normally going to do a whole lot of.
It just felt like you were cruising.
Yeah.
And once you got to, and when we had to slow down to speeds of like 50 once we got to the coast, it just felt like you were barely moving. And you're going 50 miles an hour. In my car, it feels like you're entering warp drive. Like everything's shaking, everything is loud. So yeah, definitely the quietness. Another thing is, I mean, my car just does not have the same kind of power. So if I want to pass someone on the highway, I have to really think ahead. I have to be accelerating for a much longer period of time. My car doesn't like to accelerate. It's usually in the wrong gear for acceleration because it's an automatic, and it's, probably an older automatic, so it doesn't know what it should be doing. So
yeah, the biggest problem in the Tesla when you accelerate is you have to make sure that everyone's prepared because it's so neck snapping. Like, prepare yourself, it goes fast. Here, I'm gonna go fast. Jesus Christ. Right. It's it's like if holding a coffee or something, is prepare yourself, because when you get that power, it's automatic.
Instant. And I mean, you can just drop yourself in wherever you need to in the Tesla. And in my car, it feels like you're beholden to the road.
And that's not to show off. That's not to like, oh, I'll pass this guy. It's because there are times, we all know that, when you either have to slam on the brakes or you wish that you could speed up. And if you have the choice, now in the Tesla you have the choice, I can slow down or I can speed up. In many cars it's I can only slam on the brakes. I can only
slam on the brakes. I mean, if I slam on my accelerator, my car will, it doesn't accelerate at all. It'll change 3 gears and then it'll start thinking about accelerating, and then it'll change a gear again because it switched to first. Like, not smart, not fast. If a truck is coming over on me on the highway, I have to slam on my brakes, even if I'm almost past him. And I mean, that's just dangerous.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that's great tips about driving an ICE car compared to driving a Tesla.
Oh, well, that's not all.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no. Also, navigation. I have to use my phone, and my phone battery was running low. So, I mean, I almost had to, just go by my gut. Having the 17-inch touchscreen right there is just such a different experience of driving. You know where you are, you can see all the side roads.
That's a good point, because when we were driving a couple times, or more than a couple times, we have Garmin on the left. So when you're driving as the driver, you have Garmin on the left of
which is just like a regular GPS, almost. That same kind of view, right in your dash, which is nice.
But you also get the 17-inch, and you can choose if you want it half screen or full screen. And to have both is really helpful, because I'll be honest, Garmin isn't always the way I'd like to present things. For instance, it'll sometimes tell you about an exit either a little bit earlier than you'd like or a little later than you'd like. This 17-inch screen gives you a view however you'd like. You can zoom in or zoom out, whatever you'd like to.
And your passenger can be using it while you are taking an exit or something like that, so and telling you what's coming up ahead, whereas the Garmin will only tell you when you're 0.2 miles away. It's nice to know ahead of time and have someone human telling you what's going on.
And you can see the traffic. If you turn on the traffic button, it will show you all the different lines of possible traffic, so you can get a visual idea of like, oh, you know what, that side of town looks really full of traffic right now.
Yeah, so I mean, and I missed my seat cooler. I missed, the one thing that I like better in my car is my rear view mirror.
Yeah, I will say that with the X, because you have this many seats, these go down, by the way, so you can do that and put them down and you get a little more visibility.
Or you can fold them down all the way.
Right. But because this windscreen is at a tight angle, you're getting a very small view out the rearview mirror.
Right.
And so I will say that, it's like many SUVs, it's hard to get you that, but we do have the rear view camera, which is up there, and you can have that on anytime on any part of the screens, and that is very helpful. Jesse liked it a lot. When he was driving, he would often pop it up so that he could see what was coming.
Right, and you can see your blind spots in it. I mean, that's just amazing. You can see the car behind you as they're passing you until you can see them out your side mirror, out your side window. So
and the car has side monitoring, so basically it's not going to let you go into a lane with a car there.
Right, so that's awesome. My car doesn't have that.
So these are awesome tips, awesome views about what it's like to drive an ICE car after being in this car for so long.
Yeah.
I hope if you like this channel, you subscribe to it and maybe support us on Patreon.
Definitely.
And keep sending us comments and questions below. We love to answer your questions.
Yeah. Oh, and P.S. So I right now drive an ICE car, and I do not want to drive an ICE car. I would like to drive an electric car. I want to help the environment. I want to be driving something that's safer, and I want to drive something that I like better. And that is all coming. The Model 3 is coming, and it's going to be awesome.
It is going to be awesome.
Definitely check it out. It's Tesla's Model 3. It's going to be affordable. It's going to be everything you want.
So many of the features that this car has, probably more.
So definitely check that out as well.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.